You are a sweet berry that's come from the fridge and you're very scrumptious. One of the traps of crypto is the improper thinking that decentralization will pump your bags. And yes, I know that's all you care about, pumping your bags. Don't we all? A business only cares about making money. In crypto, a network effect joiner only cares about other people joining after him or her. Or a pet duck named Greg. That's all you care about. You want to join a community that's going to stay strong and keep growing. Humans love moving forward. This is why we're here. In crypto, we all think centralization is bad, decentralization is good. And I understand why you think that way. Yes, you are a scrumptious berry, high in antioxidants, but you've also got to understand the top 100 holders of Ethereum control 40% of its supply. Does that sound decentralized to you? What if they're multiple wallets? Same people. I want you to know as well, more juicy info from your friend. BNB, the top 100 wallets used to be 99.3%. But then they were called out on it. I think Sir Johnny Chaos, shout out to Mr. Sir Johnny, he called them out and then they shifted their wallets. Isn't it funny? They actually shifted their wallets. They probably knew Mr. Johnny's a Hexagon and knows that the games they play, the shenanigans on CoinMarketCap and Binance Chain, they knew. So if it really didn't matter, why would they do this? It's because of how it looks to the public. They know people care about decentralization because we want the system to look fair. Just like with the US presidential elections or with any other politics around the world, you don't want to be conned in front of your face. You know, kind of deep down, there's some shady stuff, but you don't want to be taken for a fool. It's the same thing in crypto. But we're going to speak about this from the perspective of our bags pumping because that's all you really care about. Matic is also major centralized. It's meant to be some bastion of decentralization for Ethereum. No, it's not. They just pay the right ETH maxis to shield them as advisors. There's nothing wrong with that. I say there's nothing wrong with that because I can see it. It's transparent and I can help you. That's why I say there's nothing wrong with it. Let them do it. I can clearly identify it and I can help you. That's why I care. I care about you. Me and you, we're outsiders together. We're going to help each other. Share my videos. I'll grow the community. And we'll be able to find undervalued gems, contrarian positions to take, and we'll be able to benefit greatly together. Your mind should be expanding right now. Centralization, baby doll, baby cake, sugar pies, it's good for price pumps. It is. So, I get asked all the time, please, Mr. Provider, providing friendship, please, why is centralization good for pumps? Can you give me an example? Yes, I can give you an example. Also, shout out to Mr. Hexologist for making this list here. An updated list. You can see the percent of coins at the top 100 holders own. In Bitcoin, it's only 13%. Pretty good. But I think in Ethereum, the top 2,000 wallets own like 40%. Ethereum has 40% here. 40%. That's crazy. The top 100 wallets, man. Obviously, the rest are centralized. Hex, we know it's probably bigger. But you get the point. You understand? You can't be looking at this saying, I want to participate. Because when your bag is only up 2x and everyone else is up 30x, be honest with yourself. Are you going to be saying, wow, I am so euphoric right now. I'm in a decentralization coin. Wow. Be honest with yourself. You're going to think that you're a loser. because someone else out there bought a JPEG and outperformed you. So we're going to go to my example now. I'm going to show you why is centralization good. You're a baby doll, baby cake, and you're going to have your mind blown. So these are a couple of my favorite coins. Chainlink, HEX, PulseX, PulseChain, Porpleb. There's going to be others. I love the Hedron, Icosa. There's many others out there. I just can't fit all the logos in one place. So look at this. Let's use an example. You see, baby dolls, in crypto, liquidity is very thin. That's our premise. Liquidity is thin. In crypto, in markets, in everything. How thin? Only 5% of the market can exit. And if they do, it sends everything about minus 90% down. I'm not joking about this, by the way. This is not an example. This is not an exaggeration. Go to 1 inch. Find a 100 million market cap coin. Go to 1 inch and try to sell $5 million of that coin. It'll be down minus 95%. Not making this up. Any coin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, doesn't matter what coin it is. Try to sell 5% of its market cap. The liquidity is not thick enough. You try to exit all at once, it's all gone out. It's the same with the stock market, by the way. So don't think this is anything new. It's the same with everything in life. It's all an abstraction of a perception of value in our minds. That's why we can go much higher than you think. And that's why when we go down, it doesn't take many people to exit and we start going down. You got to understand this. So liquidity is thin. We're talking about why is centralization better for the coins? It's because now that we know liquidity is thin, let's use an example. Let's say market cap of value. So when I say market cap, it is the stored value in everyone's mind. How much money does everybody think they have? Let me repeat that again. Market cap is how much money does everybody think they have? If you went and asked everybody how much money you got in this coin, you asked them individually. So you said, hey, sir, leave your clothes on, leave your pants on. I'm just going to ask you one question. You straighten your back. Tell me, how much money do you think you have in Chainlink? How much money do you think you have in HEX? How much money do you think you have in Porpleb? How much money do you think you have in Bitcoin, Ethereum? Doesn't matter what it is. Whatever they tell you, you add up every single individual person, they'll just give you the price quote. That's the market cap. And you might say for something, it's like $100 million, right? For one coin, 100 million. But we already know from the liquidity, right? Liquidity, you only got 5 million on the bids. That's how much you can exit. So this is the truth. I'm not making this up. This is not thin liquidity, thick liquidity, up, down, left, right. This is everything. So you might actually say to me, with your pants on, by the way, you might say, hey, doesn't that mean actually the money everybody thinks they have, you divide it by 20? Yes, you might say that. That's actually a valid thing. Very good question to ask. I ask myself this. I go, wait, if everybody thinks they have, 1 trillion in Bitcoin when it's at 50K, that means they actually only have 50 billion. That doesn't sound right, but it's actually true. But try to tell people to get out. They won't all get out. So who's right and who's wrong? As with everything in life, it's something in between. So in moments of fear, your portfolio is worth nothing. But in moments of the bull market, you can get out of everything safely. But not everybody can get out at once. That's it. So now, we're going to go back to this decentralization example. So in a centralized player, there's one dude, and he's going to have a beard. He's going to be a man. It has to be a beard emoji. So here we go. It's one dude with a beard. But a decentralized player, because, it's split up, there's going to be 500 of them. 500 dudes. Okay? And we're going to have to make him a different type of dude. Let's make it a woman with a beard. Okay, so this is where it comes down to. You know this yourself intuitively. What do you think is easier to do? Convince one person not to sell, or try to convince 100 of these 500 people not to sell. What do you think is easier to do? Obviously, you're going to think this is easier. So we're going to get an emoji here. There's going to be a heart of friendship here. You know this is easier. And also, if it's not easier, it's easier to value in your mind. So if you want to use an example with HEX, let's go with HEX and Richard Heart. And use the examples here. So this is why some people often ask, I'm going to get the logos right now, baby doll, baby cakes. People often ask me, oh, what if Richard sells everything? Okay, yeah, that's all right. Right? Obviously, it's not all right, but I'm just letting you know. I understand your risk here because you think he's going to sell everything, but this is what I understand, what I like. What I like is that I can watch him on stream for 3 hours at a time. I can watch him tweet. I can watch his interviews. I can assess his character by doing the homework myself, for me, not for anybody else. So I like that because I can assess everything. I can see, okay, he's given me a history. His businesses, he got in Bitcoin early. By the way, you don't have to believe any of that. That's part of the game. You might think he's completely lying, but that's better than having no information at all. So the fact that he puts out all his information out there and he can track everything over time and he can track his calls, it's up to you to build the clout. So you can say, all right, well, you know, I buy his story or I don't buy his story. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I like that. That's good. Now, I dare you to try to do this to me with Bitcoin and Ethereum. I dare you. All right? You already know this ain't working. You already know. Good luck. Good luck, baby dolls. Keep your pants on. Keep your pants on. This is a family-friendly show. Good luck trying to get 500 of the biggest Ethereum wallets where you don't even know who the hell they are and beg them not to sell. Because that's what you got to do. You know there's a lot of weak hands there, yeah? Remember, this whole premise comes to the liquidity is thin part. It's true. Because if Richard clicks sell, it all goes to zero. But in Bitcoin and Ethereum, if the top 500 players, if 50 of them want to exit, that goes to zero too. Yes, it's true. There's not enough liquidity. You don't believe me? Do you know how many coins there are for Bitcoin's bid inside market? It's about 16,000 coins. That's it. 16,000 coins for a 2% depth. Now, you already know, once you start hitting 16,000 and you sweep it, you're not going to have like hundreds of thousands of coins as a bid appear. Everyone's going to sit on the sidelines and it's going to be super thin. They're going to be like, oh, why is this guy selling? Michael Saylor himself has 120,000 or 30,000 Bitcoin just by himself, man. Roger Ver's got like 240,000, something ridiculous. Just those two people alone can send it down minus 80, minus 90%. Now, you might say to me, oh, but they won't. But that's not the point that they won't. Now you're telling me, do you know the future? If you play that game with me, I can play that game too and say, okay, Richard Hart's not going to sell for $8 million of liquidity in HEX, which is what it is. So we can play that game too. So, but this is the future, friends. This is the future. This is why it gets harder to pump when there's more decentralization. It doesn't mean that the world is worse. It just means your upside is getting lower because you're dispersing your ownership power around. It's getting harder and harder to overcome the obstacle. Why? Because, you know, of those top 500 whales, this is the thing. Every time there's a bull market cycle, you might find a certain percentage of these are selling no matter what. You will find that. You won't find that of the top 500 people, nobody's going to sell. We saw from the previous bull market that scum Chinese pool, F2 pool, that they were dumping hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin and absolutely destroying the price at 40K, 50K. They were blocking everyone on Twitter. You saw all that insider scamming and grifting from those evil scum. You saw them. F2 pool, everyone remembers. They even had a name in China. They were called like poison fish. It translated to, because everybody knew these guys were just complete filth. dirty miners, completely wanted to harm Bitcoin. So that's all it took was one. It just took them one big miner, Chinese insiders who knew that China was going to ban it. They had inside word, they started dumping earlier. Just one. Imagine how many there are out there, like 30 of the Bitcoin miners. All it took was one. Look how much damage they did. They capped the rally. So of these 500 dudes, all it takes is 30 to 50, which is what's going to happen for them to just keep taking out profit and slamming down the bids over time and capping the rallies. That's why if you just have one centralized player, they can be convinced easier and be like, you know what? Screw it. We're going to 2030, baby. I don't care about $10 million. I'm trying to make $1 trillion, right? Now, you might say to me, hey, I don't buy into that. I don't know, but that's the point. The point is, at least you have the option to decide yourself. The more information here, the better. Because if you're in the dark, you got no idea. So I hope I've explained the game here for you. I know you're enjoying it. A lot of you enjoy when I use these examples here because these are real world examples we can tie together. So I know this goes against crypto because it's hard. The truth is very hard to swallow sometimes, but I'm serious. Get your jaw out and get ready to swallow because this is not meant to be easy. Yes, you're here for crypto decentralization and decentralization of power and ownership, but here I am telling you, centralized power is actually going to make you wealthy. So what are you going to do? You're going to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum? That's okay. Enjoy a 3x. That's okay. But just know that at one point, Bitcoin was centralized. Ethereum was more centralized, friends. You know it in your heart. I don't have to tell you. You know it. We can go all the way back to where it started. Mr. Satoshi, our favorite baby doll baby cake, he owned 100% of the coins here. He owned 1 million of the coins. Centralized ownership. It's the same story, friends. You had to trust that an anonymous guy on the internet who you knew nothing about, who claimed to have solved the problem that no one has ever been able to solve, you had to trust that he would not dump. Before the crypto industry existed, when everybody said nothing is too good to be true, when everybody was saying that, in the midst of the GFC, by the way, this was still economic recession. This was house prices collapsing. House prices collapsed 2010, 2011. They bottomed here 2012. This is house prices bottoms. They were going down for 3 years. Yes, it's true. In the midst of all that turmoil and the greatest recession and everything exploding, you had to trust that some dude on the internet who couldn't show his face, that he would not take the 1 million Bitcoin and cash out for $1 million, which is a lot of money back then. A lot of money back in 2010 before crypto industry. And then when it hit $5 million, you had to trust he never cashed out there either. He had 1 million Bitcoin here when it was $3. You had to trust he didn't cash out $3 million. You had to trust at $100 that he still wouldn't cash out, by the way. Now, Mr. Satoshi has $100 million up here. You have to trust that he wouldn't cash out. That's your centralized ownership. So, at the end of the day, you know now. That's how all the games are like this, friends. So, centralized ownership, it's not good or bad. It depends on the maturity of the asset you're in. If you really think it's going to be around in 10 years. Now you got to think to yourself, am I in something centralized or am I just early? At the end of the day, most of the time, you're probably early. Just like you are to our friendship. Like, subscribe, bell button, all friends. Tell mum and dad that you love them.